Hello, it's Yvonne back to do your bonus reading. I'm using the Quantum Tarot for this. This is my first virgin flight, I would say, with the Quantum Tarot. It's very, very different. It won't be everybody's cup of tea. I have always been attracted to this. So it has sat there for a few weeks waiting for me to engage. But you'll understand what I say and I may have to double check sometimes too, because the cards are very different, but they're beautiful. You should feel them. They just have a beautiful feel to them. They're very, very well crafted, I want to say. So let's see how we go with this deck. I feel there's a lot of energy in the air here, and especially through the What's Cracking reading, of resolving issues with people perhaps that you haven't been able to resolve issues with for a very long time. So there's some sort of energy of people being sort of encouraged, I guess, by the universe to seal or heal relationships that have been difficult, I want to say. Now, for some of you, you will never heal those relationships. There are a lot of very one-minded people in the world, a lot of narcissistic people, people who consider only themselves, and the COVID really has shown us that energy with the people who aren't prepared to put themselves on the line for the collective, which people do find very difficult to understand because they are in that very energetic sort of energetic vibe of it is about me. And many of us understand that we are all part of one collective. And it's coming through a lot in people's tarot readings. And I remember when I first started and people said things to me like, you know, you sound like you're reading for yourself. And I'd be like, yeah, it possibly does sound that way, but obviously I'm picking up on the energy of many, many people out there. So it does make you realize that we are all part of one journey. And spiritually, I've known that for a very long time. I remember actually thinking about it when I was quite young and trying to understand why I felt so connected to everybody else. But when you're an empath, that's what you do. But you have to really understand too that your empath energy can be very draining, because when you are part of a collective, you tend to forget where you finish and the next person begins. And some empaths will relate to me when I say that sometimes I can go through energies of moods, especially if I'm in a place that's very busy, that aren't my own, where I'm picking up on other people. So I have to be very upfront and clear with my energy. But you know what? It's beautiful when you're amongst people who are the same as you, because you don't feel that you have to protect that energy. But some people are very, very strong emotionally at taking that energy for themselves, I can assure you. And that's what we're seeing a divide in our community with. And I feel that somehow or another spiritually this was what was meant to happen. It just happened in a very different way to what we thought. But it's definitely dividing a community. All right, let's get into this reading. I think we've given them enough. Enough. Okay, so I have the card of the Justice coming through here. No, it is the Hermit card. It's the card of the Hermit. See, I told you I would have to take a little bit of time to work that out. The Hermit card coming through, which is quite interesting after that conversation I've just had. This is an energy that many of us empaths use quite a lot. It's about taking yourself out from the world, giving yourself time to sit in your own energy and work out what does belong to me and what belongs to somebody else. We very often have telepathic connections to other people, which means that our own energy is also deflated through that. So there's a lot of energy around having to be very strong with your protection when you're, you know, in that higher vibrating frequency. Because you attract people into your life that you don't want in your life, and it's taken me many, many years to work this out. We're also not very, very good at being hard with others, because we have this energy of wanting to give, and it's a learning curve to understand when to cut and when to move on. Cut and run. So the Hermit energy is about taking time out to really immerse yourself. Okay, so we know that's the devil energy, right? So some will look at empathy in a very positive light, and some will understand that it is actually codependency. But in our universe, there has always been a push to look at everything from a logical perspective. And if you talk to someone who's a psychologist, they will call it codependency. If you talk to someone who's a spiritual person, they will call it empathy. And that happens a lot with energies. Unfortunately, there has always been this need for humans to make sense of their world. And in making sense of their world, very often the sense they make is to put it in a sense of this logical mindset. So I feel like sometimes spirituality is a bit it's a bit trampled on, because people want to make sense of it, and there is no sense. Any sort of religion that people believe in, there is no sense to it. It's something you trust and have faith in, whatever denomination you are. This to me is about codependency. All right, so we have, this card does not have a meaning in the tarot deck. This is the card of the universe rather than the world. So it's like taking one step further, and I've just been talking about the universe here. And I feel like here, for some of you, you may be starting to understand your own vulnerability in terms of your empathy or who you are. You may be starting to come into understanding about the collective. You may be starting to see the world in a very different way, because this is seeing the wider plan. This is seeing the much bigger plan for you, rather than focusing on materialism and human logical concepts. This is about you seeing beyond that. Okie dokie. So we have quite a lot of major arcanas coming through here. This is the love. No, this is the Six of Swords. I thought it was a major arcana. This is the Six of Swords. Okay. I feel like this is really heavy reading. The Six of Swords is about moving away from something that has been very difficult for you. Maybe you're learning to trust in the universe. Maybe you're learning to trust in the collective. Maybe you're starting to understand you have a greater purpose. But I feel like you're moving away from something that has been very difficult. You see, if you stay in a world that's logical and you can't make sense of logic, and you're not quite sure how to trust and have faith in the universe, you stay in limbo. Because you know there's something greater, but you can't make sense of it. So you get stuck in this limbo state. And I feel like this is the Six of Swords energy here. It's like you're stuck on that boat. Maybe you're not able to fully trust the universe, but you also don't trust the world you live in. You know there is something more, but you can't quite put your finger on it. Let's see where we're going here. All right, and then I have the Knight of Swords coming through. There is some sort of truth coming through for you. All right, so that's the Four of Wands. There is some truth coming through to you regarding your stability. Somebody is about to deliver some sort of information here that's going to help you understand there's a greater purpose. You know, I can give you a really good example of this. I've been doing tarot for freaking centuries. And I remember, you know, in the very beginning and many years ago, going and having readings and getting readings about myself that would sometimes take, you know, years to come true, or, you know, I'd see it unfold, especially as the person told me. There was a woman in what was the Paddy's markets here years ago, when I was probably about 18, 19 years old, and she stopped me in the markets, which I don't believe you should do, but all the same, obviously she had something to tell me. And she talked to me about my future and who I would meet and what that meant to me. And I, at 18 years old, and especially sort of coming from the background that I had absolutely no faith at all in what she told me. Several years ago, somebody told me I would do somebody who didn't even know I was a psychic, somebody who had got a reading from and given them no information at all, had told me of a relationship and a platform that I would be doing in the future, and told me that I would work with people overseas. I had another person who told me along the way that I would do readings out of a cafe. Trust. Sometimes it doesn't come true straight away. Some of us people are very, very lucky we are able to access information beyond the logic. And I want to say to you, life is so much better when you're on this side of the fence. All right, let's see where we're going with this reading. It's very, very deep. All right, so I have the Seven of Wands coming through here. So the Seven of Wands is about standing your ground. It's the ultimate act of defiance. It's fighting for what you believe. It's standing up for what you want. It's a very, very stubborn energy. I always call it defiant. It just always makes me feel that way when you see it in the traditional cards. Let's see what is going on here. We all have an ultimate purpose on this planet. If you think you have no purpose, then you haven't connected spiritually to work that out. And maybe your purpose is just about, being kind to people or doing work as a light worker. Maybe it's just you understanding who you are. Everybody has a purpose here. Nine of Swords coming through there with the Eight of Swords. Oh, wow, look how beautiful that energy is. They are very beautiful cards. Okay, and then we have the Fool card, which is quite easy to spot. Some of you are being released from something through some sort of information here that you are receiving. This information that is coming to you is going to help you to stop fighting against the universe and let go of all this human-based anxiety and stress, all this trauma that you have suffered in your past that has kept you from achieving something beautiful. Can I say to you, look at this butterfly on the card here. This depiction for me is just stunning. Look at that. And I love that it's got that sun energy around it as well. This is allowing you to release something here. That's why the Six of Swords is here. You are moving away from some sort of thinking, negative mindset, something that you've stubbornly held on to for many, many years, thinking it was a part of who you were. You are releasing something here with this Nine and Eight of Swords that is going to give you a brand new start. All right, so we have here the Death card being followed by the Chariot. Okay, being followed by the Two of Cups. I want to say to you, something is very, very powerful in this reading. If you relate to some sort of journey that you're on, if you're really in the energy where you're tiptoeing between the two worlds, you're about to be shown here. Again, oh my goodness, I feel like quite teary. There's a butterfly on the Death card as well. I have not noticed them before. Somebody is about to step into your life here, a soulmate. It could be a twin flame for some of you that's going to show you. They're going to show you the truth. You are about to see a truth of something. whatever that is for you, whether it's a romantic thing, whether it's a person who's going to help you move forward here, but this person is going to help you to get that chariot ready. They are helping you to move into the energy, to move your chariot forward. I feel like you've been stuck in this sort of negative energy or this negative mindset, not really understanding. It's almost like this energy of waiting for someone to rescue you here. And I don't think it's coming like a rescue. It is coming like an energy of information that is going to help you see your own truth. Very powerful. 9 of Pentacles. Wow. All right, with the Ace of Wands here. This is about you having a brand new start. Look, the Fool, the 2 of Cups, the Ace of Wands here. This is a brand new start, walking, moving away from something that's held you back for such a long time. There is a release of something here, a release of past energies that have kept you stagnant because you've not believed in the way that you could go. You've not believed in your own power here. All right. Oh, wow. And then we have the 8 of Cups. All right. So I get the 8 of Cups here. I get the 6 of Swords there. And I feel like you're being really shown here that you have to leave some old way of thinking behind. This is very much with the Swords here, a very logical mindset, a very I want to say it's like you've been stuck fast to some idea here or some way of thinking that has kept you trapped. The 8 of Swords can be a victim mentality or a lack mentality. The 9 of Swords is about anxiety and stress. And I feel like you've been stuck in this energy here. Something is going to release you here. And it's coming via someone that you see as a soulmate or a twin. I feel like this person could be somebody here that you've had some sort of connection with, but it could also be somebody who is, I want to say, tasked with delivering this energy, tasked with showing you something. So for some of you, this could be someone who, they're giving you the wand here. They're giving you the Ace of Wands. They're showing you your magic. They're showing you your power. They're showing you who you are. And you're walking away from an old version of yourself here. You're stepping into your 9 of Pentacles energy and leaving the past behind, this past energy that's kept you trapped. You're giving up a fight. So you're giving up this fight to try and prove to yourself that you were wrong. Okay, I'm getting very much into this reading here. All right, so with the Hermit card, that makes a whole lot of sense now, doesn't it? With the Devil card, because whatever this is has been holding you back. You've been chained to it. You have been a slave to your old way of thinking. There is a bigger purpose here in the universe, and you're about to see that because you are moving away from something that has kept you trapped. There is some sort of information that is being brought to you here. That's the 4 of Wands. That's going to help you find some sort of stability. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles. So somebody is offering you something here that is going to help you to stabilize your existence. And you're going to move away from these things that have held you back for a very long time. This is very deep here. This is like I'm reading souls here. I want to say to you, I feel like I've gone into a lot of your energy here to show you some sort of truth. But what I want to say to you is the truth was always there. Oh my goodness, that reminds me of the Wizard of Oz. There is something in the Wizard of Oz that says that. Because the 10 of Cups has just jumped out on me here. So it's you finding your way to this 10 of Cups. It's about the 10 of Cups. It's about having absolute happiness. Did you not think that you could ever achieve that? Did you think that somehow or another that it had to come in some way, shape or form to allow you to release yourself from this pain that's kept you trapped? But the truth has always been in you. It's always been in you. But you have refused to see it because you've tried to make sense of it. That's what I want to say. All right, let's read a card from the Animal Spirit deck. Every time I pull this deck out, I fall totally in love with it every time. And then I put it away because I think I don't want to use it up too much. I want to give other decks a go. But I realised the other day how much I love these depictions. All right, drawing at random. Spirit wants me to take 2, so I'm going to go with 2. What are they? I have a feeling they might be something very, very potent here. All right, so we have the hyena coming out first. Let's see what goes on with the hyena. I love the way they challenge the whole, okay, already I'm hearing something. You know, when we think of an animal as being negative, right? Say, for example, a snake, and we only see them as being difficult creatures. And then sometimes we learn something about them. And I can tell you a story about a big huntsman once. Because my daughter was terrified of spiders. I wasn't. And I didn't kill them very often, but this one was quite big and it was in the house. You know, the great big, if you're in Australia, you know what I'm talking about. It was huge. And my daughter had called me like 3 o'clock in the morning and said, Mum, there's a spider on the ceiling in the lounge room. And I was like, how do you know that when you're supposed to be in bed asleep? But she'd obviously picked up. And I went out to kill this spider. And it was on the ceiling. So I took a big book and I tried to hit it. And of course it ran over the side of the book. It was far too big. It ran over the side of the book and dropped on the floor. So I tried to stomp on it. And the more I tried to kill it, the more it kept coming at me. And I kept thinking, why do they run at you? What do they think they're going to do? They're a spider, for goodness sakes. But then later on I learned that when a creature is, oh my goodness, I'm going to get all emotional. When a creature is in fear of its own life, it runs for the tallest thing to protect itself. And I remember reading that, and I have found it really hard to kill spiders ever since, because I realised that that spider was running to me thinking that I was the object of its safe place. So I can't kill a spider anymore. All right, let's read the hyena. The hyena personality is a jokester and crowd pleaser, but below the surface there are unfulfilled dreams to be realised. When the hyena card appears, it's time to reflect on your reliance on sarcasm and humour to express your truth. Are you using jokes to hide old resentments in relationships or to mask things that you feel uncomfortable discussing? What would happen if you took your goals seriously? So I feel this is about masking something here. Whatever you've been masking, your own fear and pain, you've been masking something here through trying to conceal something. And the card we have after that is the dragonfly. This is the master of light, illusion, and the mind. The dragonfly is an ancient and ethereal creature that awakens a sense of wonder in all. The dragonfly is a symbol of the mind, as it is always moving, shifting, shimmering, and changing. When the dragonfly card appears, it's worth considering the quality of your mind and perception. Are they restless or still, dreamlike or crystal clear? The situation at hand may be different than it appears at first glance. The dragonfly reminds us to calm the mind so the light of wisdom can shine through. Okay, so there is a need for you here to let go of the mask that you've been wearing and allow yourself to open to something else. It's about opening yourself up. It's about releasing this old idea or illusion around who you are, I want to say. I'll leave you with that. Thanks.